Ladies and gentlemen, your host of the evening, Mr. Brian Talley.
Welcome back to Today with Tally podcast, where we have real life value to the lives of everyday people. We're on YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, Anchor FM, Spotify, and About Face Radio. Simply search Today with Tally and be sure to like, share, and subscribe to get every episode and stay up to date with the latest and greatest our guests and this show have to offer. Now, folks, today we celebrate day 156 of this brand new podcast. In episode 103, that's correct, 103 episodes in 156 days. Now, folks, I'm looking for my business owners out there. Are you a business owner? If so, email me today, thetallybill@gmail.com. That's thetallybill@gmail.com. Let's get your business advertising right here on this podcast. We've got great engagement on Facebook and all of our social media platforms. We have a ton of listeners on Anchor FM as well as Spotify. You got gear, you got merchandise, you have business services, you have an event that you want to get out to the general public. Hit me up. I'm very easy to reach. I'm very accessible. And let's sit down, let's have a conversation, and let's advertise your business right here on this podcast. Let me help you reach your goals. Let's put a marketing plan together and develop a strategy to take your business to the next level. Now, folks, we have a very special guest joining us on today's program. Brandon Mancine is no stranger to this program. He was actually our very first guest on Tuesdays with Tally when we started this program 156 days ago. Now, he was almost the first guest on Today with Tally, but he missed it by just 2 days. But hey, he's here. He is a United States Marine Corps veteran, and he is a personal trainer and coach. With that, we welcome to the program Brandon Mancine. How are you, brother?
Doing very well, Brian. Thank you so much for having me.
It's a pleasure. Like I said, man, you always have an open invitation to this show. You are royalty when it comes to Tuesdays with Tally and Today with Tally. We are making history. And what better of a man to share this experience with today than a bearded, good-looking former Marine veteran who's over there drinking coffee like it's nobody's business.
Yes, sir. Coffee and water. It's what I live on, basically.
My man, yeah, that's all I drink too. I drink black coffee, I drink water, and I drink these HEB sparkling waters. Black cherry is is my preferred drink.
Gotta love HEB.
Oh yeah, man. There's no HEB and Buc-ee's. I tell you what, I don't know where they've been.
You're not in Texas, you don't know.
Oh,
For your listeners who aren't in Texas, they got to make their way down here.
Oh, absolutely, man. Yeah, there's nothing better, man. Nothing better. So,
yes, sir.
Look, man, new year, new you. You're a personal trainer. You're a health and fitness coach. You get people in shape. You help motivate. You help inspire. You help encourage. You help people develop strategies, and you help people set goals. We are in January of 2023. This is the prime opportunity to start taking back your life and start living the life that you were intended to live. And a lot of people want to be lighter. We have a lot of obesity in this country. We've got a lot of diabetics. We've got a lot of unhealthy people. And that's where Brandon Mancine comes in and says, I can help you. Let's start there.
Yes, sir. So, personal trainer, fitness coach, as you said, it is not a side gig or side hustle for me. This is what I've done full time since 2001. So over 2 decades now. So I've been through quite a few New Year's resolution rushes. And as you said, the common theme is new year, new me. And I wrote an article a few weeks ago, and I put it out there, and it seemed to resonate with a lot of people. So this is where, we talked about getting on here and helping spread that message of a better approach to making 2023 a successful year for people in their health and fitness endeavors. And the article was called New Year, New in parentheses, the standard I set for the people around, in parentheses, me, right? So whenever I sit down with a potential client, they want to talk about goals first, and I can help them with that. They want to talk about motivations and strategies and all that. I'm going to help with that. But the number one thing I talk about, the most important strategy, in my opinion, in what I've seen that works over the past 2+ decades, is building your support system. There's the old saying that no man is an island, right? Or no man is a self-made man. So the first thing I ask is, who are your supporters? Okay. And people will list them off, right? And it can be significant other, friends, so family, whoever it is, right? Who are the people that if you make just a public statement, I'm going to make a concerted effort to be healthier moving forward. Doesn't matter if it's the beginning of the year, whenever it is. I'm going to get healthy. I'm going to start working out. I'm going to start eating better, right? I'm going to achieve this goal, whatever it is. Who are the people that are going to be like, yeah, I'm behind you. Let's do this. Like, let's go. It's about time. Who are the people that are going to be your supporters no matter what? They're going to support you. We write those people down, and I say, okay, you're going to go to these people. You're going to go to these people, and you're going to say, this is what I'm working on, and I'm going to need your support. Right. I'm going to need you to be supportive of me in this. You already know they're going to, so it's a pretty easy yes, right? It shouldn't be that hard to do. It's still putting yourself out there, so it's still going to be a little bit uncomfortable, but it's not going to be the hardest thing you're going to do, right? That's why we talk about that first. Now, I like to liken that to laying your foundation to the new fitness empire you're going to build in your lifestyle, right?
So you're finding who your corner man is really quickly here.
Bingo. Yeah, your squad, however you want to put that. Mm-hmm. But you get them lined up first and you contact them first. Now, the next thing we talk about is addressing detractors. Okay? Because let's say one of those people is like, you don't need to do that. Let's say you're expecting support from them and they're like, you're fine the way you are. And, maybe it sounds like good intentions, but there's probably a little bit of malevolence buried in there of like, man, if you get in shape, then that makes me, kind of recognize that I'm not getting in shape. And, we can spend all day talking about the reasons for why they might be taking that approach, why they might have that mindset. But if you don't prepare for that, it can derail you. Before you even get started, it can put you off the tracks. Right. So I'll say, okay, who are the people? We're going to identify who the potential people might be. Who are the people that are going to be those detractors? They're going to try to pull you off track for whatever reason. The reason doesn't matter at this point. So a lot of times people say, well, I don't have anybody. I cut those people out of my life, whatever. Some people will give me a list of names. I'm worried about this person, how that they're going to think, whatever. Whether they have people in mind or not, especially if they don't have people in mind, I'm going to say, okay, nobody's going to try to pull you off track. That's fine. But just in case somebody does, I want to give you just a piece of info to pull from the back pocket, just a quick statement to shut them down, because I don't want you to be pulled off track. So I tell them, right, whenever somebody's trying to be a detractor, what you're going to say is, hey, you're going to stop them in their tracks. Look, this goal is important to me. Here's why it's important to me. I would like your support in this endeavor, but if I can't have it, I demand your silence. You just leave it at that. You let them deal with what you told them. You are making a choice to improve your life. You're making a choice to get better. At this point, it's grow or go.
Well, there's a lot more to trimming fat than cutting it out of your diet. A lot of the time, socially, you need to cut that fat and get rid of the toxicity that some people want to bring other people down. Because the thing is that if just because what I'm doing in my life, in my goals, maybe you can't do it. Person A can't do it. So because he can't do it, he's going to try to take away my joy because I can do it, and it all boils down to discipline, and it all boils down to, what you want in your life. And like what I've always told my kids, look, you are who you roll with. If you hang out with great, successful, like-minded people, you're going to be one. If you want to hang out with those people that are wanting to bring you down because you want to set new goals and they're making fun of you, well, guess what? If you hang out with that crowd, you're not ever going to get to where you want to be. So you got to cut them out.
Yes, sir. You know, Brian, this is why I appreciate and I love talking to you so much. It's because you're a wordsmith. Like what you just said there of there's more to trimming the fat than losing weight. I think something like that. Like that's so beautifully put. And then I was even going to, bring up that what very similar to what you said there when I was growing up, my grandfather used to say, show me who you hang with and I'll show you who you are.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's just the way it is. It's just
yes,
life,
sir. Right? So that's number one. Two more things to cover here that I think will help you.
So the first thing that we need to do is we need to establish a support system.
Yep.
Right. And we've kind of talked about that a little bit.
The supporters of the foundation, mm-hmm. and the ready go statement to throw at the detractors. That's like your moat protecting your kingdom. Right. Mm-hmm. So number two, we want to set goals, but we don't want to focus on those goals. Right. You can, whatever you want to do, write the goals down, put them on the wall, do a vision board, whatever. All that is great. But if you just focus on those, it's like you're looking at it from a distance. Right. So we set those goals. I prefer people to have empowering goals, like not, I want a 6-pack. Or I want to fit into this, whatever clothing, dress, pants, suit, whatever. But something like I want to be able to do X. When I was younger, I was involved in this sport or activity or whatever. I want to, the personal one I always give is my son is 3 years old. And when he's 18 to 20 in that range, I want to go do something with him. I'll be like 65 at that point, in my early 60s. I want to be able to go on an adventure of his choosing, climb Mount Everest, Kilimanjaro, whatever it is. So I have, little process goals I look for each year, but that's the big one that I'm trained for. That's why I'm doing the stuff I'm doing now. So you have that goal in the future. You establish a plan that's going to get you to that goal. You can work with, someone to help you get that plan going if you're in unfamiliar territory. But you establish an adaptable plan that's going to get you from where you are to where you want to be, right? So we got the goal, we got the plan. Now you break down objectives in that plan. So if my goal, I use the 15-year goal, but let's say next year I want to run a Spartan race, okay? I might have an idea of I want to run like the 8-mile race. Let's say I'm someone who hasn't run, forget 8 miles. I haven't run 1 mile in forever. Okay. Well, I kind of need to see where I'm at. So I might establish that. And now I know where I'm at. I have an idea where I want to be. So I know at, if it's 1 year out, at 6 months, I should be able to at least run 5 miles. Maybe I should be at that 8-mile mark by then, right? Mm-hmm. Depending on where I'm currently at. We got the goal. We set a plan and we set objectives to get there. Now, in order to stay on those objectives, we put weekly tasks. Right. So I know I need to strength train 3 times a week, 4 times a week, whatever. I need to get my conditioning in 3 times a week, whatever is set for the plan. And then those go in your schedule as appointments with yourself. And that is where you put the focus. So I've got my goal, but I don't focus on it. I can have a reminder of it to help with motivation, discipline, all that stuff. I have my plan that's going to get me there. I have my time-bound objectives that keep me on plan to get to that goal. And then I have those tasks that are appointments with myself. They're a priority. Now, look, emergencies come up. Things come up. That's life. You and I have kids. We both know that, right? But those are not the top, but a top priority, right? So if something comes in there that's important, something with the kids, with the family, with whatever, they get slid. They don't get removed. They get slid because you have to get those objectives done. Right? That's where you have to get those tasks done to meet those objectives, to stay on plan, to hit those goals. You put your focus on those tasks, the little steps. Each little pearl on the string makes that whole necklace. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
All right. So that's number 2. Number 1, build your support system, be able to push off detractors. Number 2, set your goals, but focus on the tasks that you knock out weekly to get the objectives to stay on plan to hit those goals. Now, number 3, and this one I've been saying for years, and I still hear it, and it kind of gets me every time. Everybody talks about, I need a lifestyle change. That is setting you up for failure, because change implies that you're doing a 180 and all of a sudden you're doing everything right. And it doesn't allow for any mistakes, because that mistake is viewed as, well, I'm back to the old me. I've fallen off the wagon. I might as well go back to doing all that, right? Do not try to do a lifestyle change. I've been, again, working professionally as a personal trainer coach for over 2 decades. I do not do everything perfect. And I'm still learning, and I will continue to still learn. You have to look at it as a lifestyle evolution. All right? We're going to make the biggest change we can sustain until it becomes a habit. And then we make the next biggest change we can sustain until it becomes a habit. And then we make the next biggest change. And it's just like, I think I've seen you share it before, that image of the 2 guys standing at the bottom of ladders, and the one ladder has like a rung like every 10 feet. And the next one has a rung like every 6 inches. Who's going to get to the top of their ladder?
Yeah.
Right? So now I want to give some examples here. There was a study done years ago where a guy we looked at the meta-analysis of people making lifestyle changes. And this was just in the realm of nutrition. There were 3 groups. One group had to make one nutrition change, and they had to stick to it over 30 days. No support given. Just choose your nutrition change. We're going to follow up with you in 30 days. The next group, 2 nutrition changes. Stick to it for 30 days. We're going to follow up with you in 30 days. The next group, the final group, 3 nutrition changes. Stick to it for 30 days. We'll come back and see who adheres. The group who had 1 nutrition change to stick with had a 55% success rate, just over half. The group with 2 nutrition changes had a 15% success rate. The group who only had to do 3 nutrition changes, nothing else, had a less than 1% success rate. Lifestyle change does not work. Lifestyle evolution, again, just over half, they were unsupported. That's why your support system is important. Lifestyle evolution works. Now, on the flip side, those of you who follow me on social media, you may know this. Yesterday, or was it the day before, was the 1-year anniversary. My mom, I helped her retire last year, and she still lived up in Pittsburgh, and was in a stressful job, a lot of stuff going on. And right after she retired, her mom passed away. She wasn't living a healthy life for the past few years. So she came down to live with us. It's great. We have a living babysitter. It's pretty awesome. And she was able to, there's an asterisk here, right? Hear me out, because it sounds like I'm contradicting myself. She was able to do a lifestyle change because she went from this high stress job, taking care of her mother in hospice, all the stressors of the world on top of her, had no healthy habits built. She comes down here. She's living with us. She's not in a stressful job anymore because she's retired. Her job is taking care of her grandkids, who she loves. She's playing with them all day. She's eating only the food that my wife cooks. My wife's an amazing cook, cooks very healthy food. In 30 days, she lost 30 pounds. She went back to see her doctor, and her doctor said, looked at the results, looked at the labs and everything, said, Kathy, I would have thought this was impossible. She told me that, and I said, this is a doctor she'd been seeing for decades. I said, okay, how do you feel? She said, I feel great. You feel healthy? Yes. I sleep better. My energy's up. I feel amazing. Okay. Do you think that that's somebody you should take health and fitness advice from? The guy who said what you did, he would have thought was impossible. So if you have the resources to make a lifestyle change, it can be awesome. But again, it's just such a rare occurrence that somebody's in the position to do that, right? Mm-hmm. So you look at the biggest acceptable change that you can fit in until it becomes a habit, and you focus on that. That's your task. That gets you to objectives, that keeps you in your plan, that gets you to your goals. Does that make sense? Does that bring up any questions there?
Yeah, I mean, I do know that it takes 3 months to really, create a new habit. 3 months. If you could survive 3 months and be disciplined enough to get through those first 90 days and really set your mind to this, I think that's when a lot of people can start to see that success and see that change. Because I think once you start to see that change, I know that's what happened to me when I started to get up and get better in 2019. That once I started to see what this new version of myself could look like, it excited me, and I wanted more.
Yeah.
And I haven't stopped getting 1% better since 2019. It's an everyday fight. It's tough when you got donuts in front of your face and you've got constant barbecue and you've got all this good food. But I have to take a stand back and say, guys, I'm sorry. I that ain't me. I've been an intermittent faster now for a very long time, and I have never even missed a fast. As a matter of fact, my fasting record right now, as I go to my Life app, is I am currently on day, let's see here, if this will pull up. I am on day 1,275 in a row. I've never missed a fast.
Let me interject right there. Go ahead. What you just talked about. You talked about how you have those temptations around you. Mm-hmm. And you said, guys, look, you were putting those detractors at bay. Mm-hmm. You did it right there. You talked about how you made that a practice. And then you went to support system, right? People are an essential part of that support system, but things that are going to keep you on task, to keep you on objective, to keep you on your plan. You just nailed it. You just went through two of the points right there, Brian. Thank you.
Yeah, and that's real life. And you know what? This is what I do. When people say, come on, just a bite. Oh, wait, you're not fasting right now, are you? Yeah, I am. Well, when did you start your fast? An hour and a half ago. You're only an hour and a half into your fast. Here, try this. I just made it. It's so good. And I say, and then this is what I do. I say, do you see that? Do you not see that? That is my mission. Man. So don't be screwing up my mission because your bite isn't worth it. And when I come off my fast, save me some and I'll go and I'll try it and I'll eat it and I'll probably really enjoy it. But until then, leave me alone.
Standards and boundaries.
I'm doing me, right?
Way to go. Way to go, Brian. Proud of you.
You know what? I have never looked back. 1,275 days. I've never looked freaking back. And, I've fasted a total of 26,341 hours. And it all begins in the kitchen. Like you said, your mom, she's not out running marathons. She's just eating good food, good, healthy food. And just by eating good, healthy food, you can lose 30 pounds in a month. Again, it all begins in the kitchen. I see guys in the gym sometimes. They're there 2-3 times a day, and they're overworking themselves. They're not giving themselves any breaks. They're not giving themselves the recovery time, and they're eating whatever you think that they want to eat, and they don't go anywhere. You don't see any change in these guys. And they're like, all I do is work out. All I do is work out. I don't see any results. And because, dude, you're doing it wrong. It's not that hard. Look, it begins in the kitchen. It begins in the kitchen, and you don't need to overwork. If you overwork, you're going to be tearing down your muscle. And again, you're not doing yourself any favors.
So 2 points that you said something. You said a couple things in there reminded me of little sayings of advice I throw out to people. Number one, the fitness industry is a shell game, right? Just always a lot of companies out there moving around. Do this, do this, do this. Fitness industry is a shell game. Fitness is simple. Squat, hinge, push, pull, lunge, carry.
Mm-hmm.
Get stronger in those movement patterns. The difference between strength training and yoga is external load. It's a practice of movement. You focus on the patterns the body can move through. And then conditioning. Second there, you talked about 2-a-days. I've said this for years, and some coaches online, because everybody loves to argue online, will give me a lot of crap for it. But 2-a-days are for 2 types of people: world champions and idiots, right? If you're like Floyd Mayweather in his prime, was probably working out at least twice a day, but those workouts were specific to physical skills that made him one of the best boxers in the world. It wasn't the same workout twice in a day, which is what most people do. And if you're not a world champion, or if you're not at that world-class level, why are you like, my workouts are 45 minutes to an hour. If I'm spending more time than that, I mean, what am I doing? Like, that's time away from my family, away from my wife, kids, away from the business that helps me, be with my family and do things with my family, and away from the things I really love in my life. That I love fitness, but my level of fitness is there to serve the rest of my life. It's not the totality of my life. No. So yeah, 2-a-days are for 2 types of people: world champions and idiots.
Yeah. And the majority of the people that I do see in there that are completely overworking themselves aren't world-class athletes. And if they were, they would have a world-class trainer, because that's the only thing that's going to make that world-class athlete who he is the support system, and that world-class trainer, and that world-class coach, and that world-class chef that is preparing all of his meals, and that is telling him exactly what to do and where to get to where he needs to be, and to push them beyond exertion, because that's what they do. So, yes, I mean, and like you said, they're not doing the same thing over and over again. Like, you got guys in there doing chest every day. Oh, I'm going to get so strong, I'm going to build my chest. Well, all you're doing is tearing it up.
Yes, sir. Muhammad Ali had Angelo Dundee. Mike Tyson had Customato. Steve Prefontaine had Bill Bowman. Yeah. There's always the coach back there.
And I know you got Pittsburgh roots, and I'm from Youngstown originally, and I see those boxing gloves back there, and you got a last name of Mancine. I know it's not spelled the same way, but it's said the same way. And I'm just sitting here, and I'm like, man, look at that guy.
I did box in my younger years. Yeah, it was that's the one sport I still follow. I love all the combat sports. Like MMA is just a beautiful sport. I love the sweet science. I trained for a charity boxing event last year. It got shut down before we got to go. But these are actually, I got a Mickey Ward autograph up here, Arturo Gatti. This is Mike Tyson, and this is Sugar Ray Leonard.
Sugar Ray.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, man, that's awesome. I remember, Ray Boom Boom Mancine.
Boom Boom.
Pride of Youngstown, Ohio.
Yes, sir. I want to get one of his. That was one of my nicknames in high school, was Boom Boom.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, with the last name of Mancine, I mean, come on. Man.
Yes, sir.
So, all right. So this is what we've got, right? So we go in there and we establish a support system. You've got your supporters, you got your detractors. We're going to set some goals. We're going to plan. We've got our objectives and we've got our tasks. And then we get into the evolution and not change. And that's when you started to kind of talk about not making that lifestyle change, right? We're kind of going through the motions here of, because you said that it's unlikely that you can sustain a complete lifestyle change.
You've got responsibilities in your life, right?
Mm-hmm.
You've got family, job, things you have to keep up with.
Right.
And any change is stressful. So if you look to change everything, I mean, even let's look at the food aspect. Food is love, right? When someone's mourning, what do? We bring them food. When we're celebrating something, what do? We have cake.
Mm-hmm.
So if you are completely changing the thing that completely changing, turning it on its head, so completely abstaining from the things that bring you some comfort when you're going through stressful times, you're setting yourself up for failure, man.
You just said something that I need to talk about, because I think this is what the majority of the people on this podcast today are going to say. Yep, nailed it. Now, when I began to intermittent fast, I went all in, and I learned a lot about my body. Trust me, I ended up in the emergency room several times because I didn't know what I was really doing. I knew I wanted to do it, and I dove head first. I didn't check the depth of the water, but I made it happen, and I had an out. Doctor said, stop intermittent fasting, but I didn't. I kept going. I pushed myself. I wanted to see what happens. I passed out. I had blood sugar levels all over the place. And like I said, man, I went all in. And now I've got it all figured out. I know more about my body now than I ever have. But one thing I've noticed since 1,275 days ago, since I've been intermittent fasting, is that everybody is always stuffing their pie hole. Everywhere I go, people are eating. Now, I'm not, because I eat my one meal a day and I get full, and then I'm ready to go, and then I won't eat again for 23 hours. I do a one meal a day. Sometimes I'll stretch it out 2 or 3 hours, but I'm still eating the same amount of calories. But everywhere I go, all I do is see people eating. It doesn't matter where I'm at. They're eating snacks. They're eating hot dogs and cakes and burgers and fries, and they're not even hungry in their eating, because our American lifestyle is based on eating. So when you go out, the first thing you're going to do is you're going to go get something to eat. If you go to the park, you're getting in line to go get something to eat. If you go to a ball game, what's the first thing you're going to do before you sit down? You're going to go get a pop. You're going to get a hot dog. You're going to get foods. You're going to get pretzel. You're going to get Cracker Jacks. You're going to get peanuts. And you're going to stuff your face, and you're going to be entertained. What's the first thing you do when you go to a movie? You sit down and you get your popcorn. Well, the funny thing is, you just came from lunch, or you just came from dinner, and you're not really hungry, but you're like, fuck, I need to get some popcorn because I can't watch a movie without popcorn. It's like, It's all people do. And until you can understand that your body doesn't need all this garbage, it doesn't need all the sugar, it doesn't need all the fat, you are never going to change. You will be doing the same thing over and over again and having the same results. So really, it all boils down to discipline. You either want it or you don't want it. We have all the resources in the world in this country. We've got tons of people like Brandon Mancine who are out here to help people and guide people and put that train back on its tracks. But only you can save you. Only you can make the change. It's not easy. It's hard. And that's why we have a lot of obesity in this country, because they don't want to take that challenge up to change their life for the betterment for themselves, because they say life's too short. I'm going to have the barbecue and I'm going to be happy. Well, that's fine. That's a decision you've made. But there's so many people out there that want to make the change, but they feel they're so far gone that they would have to work for so many years to get to the point to where they want to be and be happy and excited about it, because they want instant gratification, that they're not willing to put in the work. I mean, does this make sense?
Yeah. You said a couple things there. Number one, about how long does it take, or going for years and years and years. When we talk about goals, this is why I come back to set empowering goals, right? So something you want to be able to accomplish, something physical you want to be able to do or do better. Maybe something you're not great at and you want to get better at. I've had clients who were fencers, clients who were ballroom dancers, and I helped them get better in those activities. 5Ks, 10Ks, those are the common ones. But when you can feel yourself getting better in an activity you do on a consistent basis, be it, a couple times a week, once a week, whatever, that gets you excited. When you have a goal, an empowering goal that you enjoy and you're getting better at it, man, the discipline gets easier to apply, right? Because you're like, I understand that doing this makes what I enjoy better, more enjoyable. That's a pretty easy fix there. So that's why I always try to steer people towards those empowering goals. Be able to do something you enjoy better. And then there was something else you said in there. I should have wrote it down.
Was it about stuffing your pie hole? Eating when you're not hungry?
So it was there it is. So back to how long does it take? The more you get involved in health and fitness, the longer it takes, because you end up living longer, right? You increase what's called your functional lifespan. So not just how long do you live, but how much longer do you live a vibrant life? And then the other one is the common misconception that health and fitness is about, people think it's just strictly about sacrifice. And I'm not, I'm going to have to give up so much. And it's true. You have to exercise some discipline. You have to give up on some things, but truly being healthy and fit is about getting more out of life, being able to do more for longer. I always say outlive them on the X and the Y axis. So more days in the life and more life in the days. Does that make sense?
Sure.
Yeah. I made a post the other day. I'm going to read it for you here. Said, your good habits have present day cost, discomfort, inconvenience, and temporary deprivation, while the cost of your bad habits is deferred to your future self in disappointment, disability, and dissatisfaction.
Talk about a wordsmith.
Thank you, sir. That means a lot coming from you.
Hey, man. Us Marines, we're not as dumb as we look, right?
Well, maybe not at 45 in my younger years. Hey,
you know what? I'm 45 too, man. We got something in common there. Look at it. We're Marines. We're both from Northeast Ohio area, Western PA.
Yes, sir.
I know you are more than me. I left at 3, but all my family stayed there. But still, that's my roots, and both Marines, and we're both involved in the betterment of ourselves and trying to set the example to inspire others. And really, that's what this podcast is all about. I mean, if we can just reach the heart and minds of just one person, we've done our job today. And I know we will, sincerely. And I hope that people can reach out to you, because you're so accessible, you're so easy to talk to, and you have extensive knowledge that you can share with people, with your, over 20 years of hands-on experience. And, you've been there, you've done it, you've recovered from injuries. Again, you and I have had so many outs. We have had so many outs. Yes, and people would have accepted that. Like, I get it. I would probably do the same thing, but we didn't. We stayed in the fight. We did the work. We did the hard stuff. We showed some discipline, and we showed some perseverance, and we showed some resilience, and we answered the door one day, and adversity came a knocking, and it knocked us down. And again, we all get knocked down in life, but it's up to us to stand up and to help ourselves heal, because like I said, only you can save you, but lean on your resources. There's resources everywhere out there. All you got to do is open your eyes.
Yes, sir. So on that, if people want to know where to find me, on Instagram, I've got 2 pages you can follow. There's Coach Brandon Mancini, no spaces, just Coach Brandon Mancini. And Brandon Mancini Fitness is the name of my company. So I've got BMF Coaching BMF Coach. BMF Coach is the other Instagram handle. Or you can search the hashtag Get Strong and Do Stuff. I liken that to, that's my hashtag. Nobody else is using that just yet. But I liken that to what is, the strength and conditioning for the everyday man. Every professional sports team, college team, and some high school teams have their strength and conditioning department, because strength is that thing that makes all your other physical skills better. Conditioning is everything that is specific to your sport. So for the dads and the family men and the weekend warriors and the men and women, I always tell them, get strong. That's your strength program, and do stuff. That's your activity. That is your empowering goal.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the hashtag, get strong and do stuff.
Yeah, because, if you don't get strong and healthy, you're not going to really have time to go do stuff, because you're going to be unhealthy. You're going to be unfit. You want to stay in your comfort zone. You want to sit in that couch and sit close to those bags of chips and Doritos and Fritos and whatever else it may be. But look, guys, we are being joined by Brandon Mancini. Like he had said, go follow him on Instagram. The handles are up right here at Coach Brandon Mancini. And it's not spelled like the way you would think that it's spelled. It's Mancine. Coach Brandon Mancini, Mancine, or go check him out on Instagram at BMF. That's Bravo Mike Foxtrot Coach, BMF Coach on Instagram. And you can follow his story. You can follow his inspiration, his encouragement, his coaching tips, his help tips, his cooking tips, maybe some of his wife's recipes. She's a great cook. I don't know. Maybe some life tips.
There we go.
So is there anything else that you would like to share with us today, Brandon? I know this has been a great interview. We're just, talking about the nitty gritty of, working out and getting people, back to where they want to be, right?
Yes, sir. I would just round it up and summarize, say, establish the support system, find your supporters, tell them you're going to need their support and you're going to want to lean on them. Be ready to deflect detractors. Have that statement just ready to pull from your back pocket. Set empowering goals that excite you. Goals that you're like, yes, that's what I want. That's what I want to be able to. That's what I'm working towards. That's what I'm going to become. But don't focus on those. You set those goals, you get a plan, you set those objectives, and then you put those tasks, and that's in your schedule. That's where you focus, getting those tasks knocked out. And then lastly, look to evolve your lifestyle over the rest of your life. Not just a lifestyle change. Evolve your lifestyle over the rest of your life.
Yeah, I got a question for you.
All right, shoot.
I got a question for you here, and I'm sure a lot of people are going to be thinking the same thing. Brandon, I just can't do this. I'm working 40 hours a week. I'm working 50 hours a week. I don't have any time. When I get off of work, I have zero energy. All I got to do is I just got to get home, and I need to relax. I need to recoup, because I got to be doing the same thing over again. When I wake up in the morning at 5 o'clock to go to work, I have no time to exercise. I have really no time to eat well. I eat out of a bag. I eat fast food every single day. I just can't. And when I try to go to the gym, I just feel as if I'm not doing anything. I just feel like I'm in quicksand, and I just stop going because I lose interest. And really, at the end of the day, it's just not for me.
Yeah, I hear that a lot. Again, I've been doing this for over 2 decades. I would tell people, because that's a very nuanced position, right? First off, it's not true, but it is the person's perspective, right? It's where their mind is at right now, mindset, whatever you want to call it. So there's the old saying, like the way you keep someone from not escape, the way you keep a prisoner from not escaping is not letting them know they're in a prison, right? So I would tell them, hire a coach, because there are changes you can make. Just like I said earlier, the fitness industry is a shell game. Fitness is simple. There are simple changes, not necessarily easy, but simple changes we can make to get you a little more energy. We start with those. Then that more energy, we have to apply it in an appropriate area that's going to get you that next bump in your evolution, right? And then you feel those changes, right? And then you can make that that makes it become a habit, and the snowball effect starts to kick in. So if you join a gym, and I've worked in a lot of different gyms, and the big box gyms, like Planet Fitness, for example, Planet Fitness business model depends on the people that join there not coming in. The vast majority of them, like I can't remember the stat from the hip, but a ridiculously high percentage of people who join that gym never go. Planet Fitness knows that. That's who they market to. If 25%, if 10% of the people that joined Planet Fitness showed up, it wouldn't work, right? So joining a gym might not be the best starting point. That's why I always say starting with the support system. Now, of course, I'm going to be part of that support system for my clients, but you have to build from there. So I'm not saying not to join. What I am saying is talk to somebody who can help you figure out what is the first change you can make. Not tell you, right? But help you figure out what is the first change you can make in your lifestyle evolution. Reach out to me on Instagram. I would love to help you.
You know, I think another thing that a lot of folks can do to help, you know, was on a Sunday, right? When you're just, you know, getting ready for the week, you cook a bunch of chicken and rice and some good vegetables, and you kind of just meal prep for 5 days. And, you know, that's easy to do. You prep it all, you put it in the fridge, and you grab one out the door when you're heading to work. And instead of going out with the boys for lunch and dropping $30 on lunch, you could stay back in the office and you can eat your lunch and enjoy it and have a good meal. And really, you can do that and lose weight without even really doing the exercise. You know, so
that's one potential food strategy. There's I've had people who are able to cook. They're good cooks, and that's one place we can start. There's meal prep services that will deliver food to you, usually for less than the cost of what people are spending anyway, because a lot of people are dining out and they're healthier foods and they taste great. People will have different preferences for different services, but it's really about that evolution of trying different things and seeing what works for you. If someone if they understand how to cook, if they know how to cook, then that would be a great place to start. But we always want to look at, what I'll help people look at is an exercise and activity strategy. There's the one change we're going to work on there. A nutrition strategy, that's the one change we're going to work on there. And there's typically something in the lifestyle that'll help them get better sleep, help them fix their circadian rhythm or whatever other, when we go through the client discovery, whatever other challenges they're working on there that can help in the lifestyle front.
You nailed it. Sleep is I didn't realize how important sleep was. And, you know, living with chronic pain, and I suffered, some very irreversible, permanent damage, all up and down my spine and in my body. And I'm sleeping better now since I started to do a lot of CBD products and stuff like that. But the one thing that I realized is that sleep is so important. And if you don't have that, you're never going to reach your goals, because if you're not getting that sleep and that rest, your body's going to be in a more stressed out state. And when your body's in a stressed out state, it's hard to lose weight when you're stressed out.
Right. You are not stronger at the
Yeah.
end of your workout. You're
Yeah.
not stronger at the end of your workout. You are, in fact, weaker, deconditioned at the end of your workout because you've put a stress on your body, specific adaptation to impose demand. You've put the demand on your body. It is broken down a bit. If you rest, recover, and eat well, then you will get stronger over the next 24 to 36 hours, right? So yeah, that sleep is there's the 10 physical skills. I talked about strength and conditioning. Strength is the one that has the greatest carryover to all others, the common thought, right? The other 9, we as coaches shuffle around depending on what the person's goal are, what sport they're in, what position they play in that sport. But the common knowledge has been, well, strength has the greatest carryover to all others. It's the most important. But I say sleep is that 11th skill because you can warm up for sleep. Like the what your activity, what your life looks like in that last 60 to 120 minutes before you go to bed will determine how well you sleep. Are you getting a lot of screen time? Well, that's going to mess you up. Are you drinking caffeine? There are a lot of things that can disturb your sleep, even some of the foods that you eat. So you can warm up for good sleep. You can measure how well you sleep with different apps, like different technology. There's pillows that'll measure it. There's mattresses that'll measure it. But you can also just journal in the morning and see how you're feeling. Right? What did I do last night before I went to bed? I had no screen time for the last 90 minutes. I read a book, I journaled a bit, and then I went to bed, and I felt amazing the next day. Right? So sleep is sleep is key, essential for overall health.
I've got one final question here, and then we're going to wrap this sucker up because we're up against time. I want to know who is the poster child? Who is the perfect candidate? Who is the perfect candidate for somebody like you to take on as a new client?
So you may have saw that big smile I had there because when you said poster child, it's we're you and I are on the same level. I've been working with a client for about 2 months now, and he is a 73-year-old widower. His wife passed away a little over a decade ago. Last year, he had both knees replaced, one in January, one in August, and him and his wife had very active lives, and kayaking was their thing. They would RV all around the country and go kayaking and camping in different places. And he was having trouble. He could no longer lift his kayak up and put it on top of his Jeep after his knee surgeries last year. And so he was referred to me and he said, look, can you help me get stronger so I can, here's my limitations. Here's what I'm working with. And I had these knee surgeries. Can I do that? I said, yeah, absolutely. He goes, all right. I hope you're not lying. Let's give this a shot. And his name's Bob, and he's awesome. He, there's 2 types of clients. There's the kind you have to push and the kind you have to pull the reins back on. He's definitely the latter of that group. I've got to make sure, I'm telling him, look, okay, you do this up to this point. Do not go further than this point. But anybody who wants to get more out of life, right? If you are willing to get outside your comfort zone, willing to put in the effort to get strong and do stuff, if you have empowering goals, if you're willing to lean on a support system, if you're willing to shut down those detractors who come at you or who, for whatever reason, are trying to tell you, you don't need to do that, you're perfect the way you are, but you want more out of life. That's who I want to work with. I said for years, I don't take on clients, I take on partners who are working towards their healthier life.
Makes sense, man. Makes sense. Well, I just want to thank you for joining us today, Brandon. We sincerely appreciate everything you have done and continue to do in the veteran community as well as in the health and fitness community. Your service, sacrifice, and dedication is truly admirable.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for having me again.
Yes, sir. Folks, remember to stay inspired, stay encouraged, stay motivated, and always stay in the fight. Until next time, For today with Tally, this is Brian Tally. Good night, Semper Fi, and God bless.